million CCTV cameras in Australia, it's no exaggeration to say we're constantly being watched. But what happens if those cameras also recognised our faces and that information is stored on a database that can be accessed without our permission? Well, that's exactly what the government is pushing for.
But this really changes the nature of the world that we're in.
Scary stuff. Really, really scary stuff.
Imagine if this was your average commute to work. By the time you've started driving or hopped on the bus or the train, a coordinated system of surveillance cameras has begun building a profile of you. The intelligent technology can track your movements and behaviour in real time. It's making notes, and it's all going into a huge database that can be accessed without your permission.
While it may seem far-fetched now, it could be sooner than you realise. Think about it. I haven't even made it to work yet, let alone finish my morning coffee, and I estimate I've been filmed by at least 100 CCTV cameras. Tonight, how those cameras are set to get a whole lot smarter.
From sports stadiums to schools, shopping centres to suburban councils. You may not know it, but facial recognition technology is quietly being rolled out and becoming the norm. And now the government wants to set up a database that would match images of everyone captured on CCTV with their driver's licence and passport photos. They've dubbed the system the Capability.
They're going to use this database with face recognition to be able to pick people out. So you'll be able to take CCD footage and be able to automatically identify people.
The government says the system will primarily work to prevent terror attacks, but artificial intelligence professor Toby Walsh from the University of New South Wales has serious concerns.
Many of the cameras are manufactured in China.
The professor is among critics who fear that the information collected could be compromised.
Government hasn't shown itself to be too competent at looking after our data, and if bad actors are out there, they could use this data for whatever purposes.
The facial recognition database would be shared with government agencies, police, security and anti-corruption agencies, and even private organisations. In China, similar technology is used to detect and apprehend people who have outstanding debts or catch people who commit minor crimes like jaywalking. The cameras are the backbone of the country's social credit system, which awards or deducts points depending on a citizen's behaviour. If a person's rating gets too low, they could be prevented from doing everyday activities like catching the train or flying.
We are getting ahead of ourselves, and the technology is proceeding at such a pace now.
The problem has been technological change.
Global futurist Dr. Richard Hames welcomes facial recognition and says smart cities are beneficial, but he's called for tight regulation. So far, the government hasn't revealed in detail how it will protect the data.
AI is going to become an integral component of that kind of surveillance system. And I think we need to start really regulating that tightly today.
Australians are being increasingly tracked by CCTV cameras. There are as many as 2 million across the country. Not counting Chinese cities, a recent analysis found Sydney has among the highest number of CCTV cameras per 1,000 people in the world. Only Chicago, Abu Dhabi, Singapore, Atlanta and London have more. The SCG uses facial recognition to alert authorities to banned patrons. The technology is also utilised at the Gabba and Suncorp Stadium in Queensland and at Victoria's MCG. More than 100 schools across Australia are also trialling facial recognition software to mark attendance records.
No CCTV around here, Charles.
Oh, no.
Charles Affleck is among a growing number of Australians shunning the big smoke and going off the grid.
I'm guessing you enjoy the fact you're away from the hustle and bustle, away from that kind of technology we're talking about in tonight's story.
Yeah, I am, and glad to be away from it.
Charles' off-the-grid community in country Victoria relies on solar power. The 69-year-old believes more people will be encouraged to embrace a similar lifestyle as a result of the surge of surveillance software in our cities and suburbs.
No one watching you.
Nobody watching me, and it'll stay that way. There's no reason for it not to.
But as we've seen tonight, Big Brother is watching the vast majority of us. Exactly how that information will be used is anyone's guess.
I hope it's not too late. The government still has yet to pass this legislation.
It's a bit scary, isn't it? We requested an interview with the Department of Home Affairs, but they declined and instead provided us with a statement which can be found on our website.